Fellow traders, Larry Williams, really pleased and glad to be back here. Thanks to StockCharts.com. Today I'm going to be talking about timing the gold market, also timing stocks, Bitcoin, and NVIDIA. But really, the emphasis today is going to be a lot on, can we actually time the markets? We all would like to be able to time the market, but just because we want something doesn't mean that we get it. We'd all like to have perfect market timing, but in 63 years of being in the market, I've never seen perfect market timing. I've seen bad timing. I've seen some really good timing too. So it is possible. It is possible to do it. Most academics will say there's no reliable predictive model, that there are signals, but they're not reliable. Oh, I'm going to disagree with that with hard evidence. There are ways you can time the gold market, fundamentals, seasonals. Usually gold rallies at certain times of the year. When there's a lot of smart money buying it, it usually rallies. There are cycles, as you'll see in a moment. Clearly, we can measure gold when it's overvalued or undervalued, or a stock. If a stock is undervalued, it's probably time to buy the stock. Or the commitment to trader data, which unfortunately we have not had the last 4 weeks thanks to the government shutdown. But there are conditions that help us time the market, as well as aspects of technical analysis. But can it really be done? Well, here is my gold forecast from my 2024 forecast, forecasting gold, what it should do in 2024. It should have a low about February 25th, another one about August 6th, and then in October of the year, with a peak in April 1st. That was a forecast in 2024. And here's 2024. There's 225. There's 41. There's 86. And there's that October buy point. So pretty good idea from a general roadmap of when we should see the tops and bottoms in the market. So it is possible to time the market, but to a gnat's eyelash, no. At least I'm not smart enough to do that. And maybe that was just lucky. Maybe that was it. Here's the forecast for 2025, again, done over a year ago. To my forecast readers, we're looking for a buy in April. 75% of the time in this cycle wave, gold has rallied from mid-June into September, October. And you can see those are the buy points we'll be looking in the marketplace. Well, there's that 75% rally. We got it this year. And there's the August 10th and the April 1st buy signal. So generally speaking, I think that we can time the markets. Now, a month ago, thanks to StockCharts.com, I did one of these YouTube videos and we talked about gold coming down. You probably saw that. A lot of people are shocked because gold didn't immediately come down, but it is broken now. We thought it would come down, and I think it will come down more because the cycle suggests we're in a down phase. Not only that, there's a strong 8-year cycle for gold, which also suggests lower prices at least into the first part of 2026. So I think there's some good timing reasons or cyclical reasons to look at gold on the short side at this point.
Hey guys, it's Grayson here. I hope you're enjoying this video from the legendary Larry Williams. Now, we are so honored to have Larry's content here on Stock Charts TV, but we're even more honored to have him as a power Stock Charts user. Larry has been using the tools, the features, the charts, everything that we have at StockCharts.com for years, and he recommends that you do the same. So remember, if you want to trade and invest and analyze the markets the same way that Larry himself does, you got to be a StockCharts member. Visit StockCharts.com. Look for that big green button at the top of the page. You can get started with a free 1-month trial. Level up your trading and investing toolkit with the same tools chosen by the legendary Larry Williams. Now let's get back to the video.
But I think here's something, if you just kind of humor an old man, I want to talk about today, and that's technical analysis. All indicators, all technical indicators, what they really do is show us where the market is. They show us what has happened. If there's a squeeze in Bollinger Bands, or percent R is overbought, or MACD it shows the current status of the market, but it doesn't show us what will happen in the future. It just says the market's been an uptrend, it's been a downtrend, there's been this or that. But it says what has happened in the past. As traders, as investors, we're interested in the future. And the only thing I found that can give us a sense of that future is cyclical analysis. What will most likely happen, the general path. So this tells us a condition of, oh yeah, we should have something, and here's how it should unfold. That's how I combine technical analysis and cyclical analysis. I think they can be used together, but you have to realize they both have limitations. In StockCharts, we have some great tools for gold. This is my overvaluation, undervaluation. We're undervalued in gold and gold rallied. We're overvalued in gold. Here's the undervalued reading right here. Sorry, undervalued, undervalued. We're undervalued in gold right here, and gold took off. Then we got overvalued in gold, and of course, gold started to come down. So we can look at valuation models with any commodity or stock to see if it's overvalued or undervalued. Here was incredibly undervalued, a time to buy, overvalued here, and overvalued here. So that gives us the scenario, the setting of what a market can do. We can look at the market in so many different ways with technical tools. Here's another looking at a valuation of gold shares. It's so possible to do this. And then we can look at, say, this the cyclical analysis of the market. This is the cycle forecast of what the market should do. And this goes out 66 days in the future, which also suggests about now we should see gold start to go down. So we have some pretty strong suggestions from technical analysis of what most likely will happen. Then we could even bring the seasonal. This is the seasonal pattern of gold. Usually gold starts to go down quite a bit earlier than that. It starts to rally about December. I like to look at the interaction of price versus seasonals. When I see there's a seasonal point to rally here and price has been pretty strong, that usually suggests the seasonal will in fact be true this year. The fact price has been stronger than seasonal this year suggests we may not get as big of a seasonal decline. So I like to compare the pattern of the past and seasonals versus how we're actually trading right here, right now. This is football season. Wow, there's a lesson from football I'd really like to share with you today. A couple lessons. On average, a team will run 60 plays per game, and each play, I played football in college, each play theoretically will score. If this guy blocks this guy and this guy does that, the passer will score. Yet only 3 touchdowns per game on average. So 95% of the plays or trades are losing trades, if you will. Isn't that interesting? Yet they keep playing, trying to get that touchdown. Another interesting thing, a game lasts maybe in the area of 3 hours, but the actual time of boom, 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 real play time, you know what it is? It's only about 11 minutes, maybe 12 minutes. Kind of like trading. We spend so much time looking at this stuff, but the actual in the trade is a lot shorter time period than we're thinking of. But the bottom line of this, 60 plays, but they only score 3 times per game, is keep this in mind as a trader. It only takes one good trade. As long as you limit your losses, have a lot of little losses, you can still survive. If you get one good trade on it, covers a multitude of sins. So just keep that in mind. One good trade can really take you a long, long way. And also, limit the number of trades you're trading. Just look for that one good trade. Don't take every trade that comes along. Don't take every streetcar that you see. Wait. Learn to be patient. Okay, here's my current gold forecast. I thought you'd like this right up to date. I think we're going to continue seeing coming down into the first part of December, a little bounce up, but still the red line is the intermediate term cycles. We should see this lower into the end of the year. So that's my current forecast again right here, right now for gold. This was the Bitcoin forecast we shared on StockCharts.com a month ago, calling for a high in the market. And of course, Bitcoin has really come down quite a bit now. And that still sticks with the low sometime coming around the 1st of February in that time period. In terms of valuation or valuation model, we showed this a month ago. We were overvalued. We're overvalued here. We're overvalued here. Overvalued before the decline. A reason to think that the cycle forecast would work. So I'm combining this. Oh, we have a cycle forecast down. Maybe it'll go down. Oh, but we're overvalued. Yeah, good. So now I like to combine things. I think that helps us become more successful. And then a month ago, we said, look at the trend. There's the trend line. We break that trend line. The market's in trouble. And of course, it was in trouble. In fact, Bitcoin just had its worst October in many years, a really big down move in the marketplace. So I want to talk about the whole Bitcoin market. In black, you see Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. That's the big one. And then we have Ethereum in red and Chainlink in blue. They all top and bottom at the same time. So my way of thinking, since I don't know which one of these are good, if any of them are good, I think there's more data and the more reliability in GBTC than in the other coins. So I would prefer to put my emphasis here as opposed to any of the other coins. I think that's more uh, predictable, thus more tradable. The seasonal pattern suggests we start to run up and then we start to see weakness at the first of the year, kind of fitting in with what we'd seen in the cycle forecast as well. In terms of valuation, we were overvalued a while ago. We're starting to get in the undervalued. We could have a little bounce in the market here, but the longer term picture, of course, is to the downside. And here's my updated forecast for those of you who follow Bitcoin. It looks like we're going to continue coming down. A little choppy in here. Look how the red line, which is the intermediate term cycle, really bouncy in here. But the bigger pattern, the longer term cycle you see in blue, which has been pretty good, rally up here. Yeah, it says we should see the market come to the downside. I'm going to expand this view a little bit because I know there's so many Bitcoin traders now. You can see a general view of around the 1st of February. We should continue to see weakness until that time. In fact, in this blue wave down, Bitcoin has gone down 70% of the time. So we have high odds here. Doesn't mean it's going to be a perfect trade, but we have odds in our favor. I think that's what we should look for as traders, is times when the odds are, don't just take a trade because it looks this way or that way. I'm looking for high probability trades. How about the stock market? Let's focus on stocks for just a moment here. Here was my forecast for 2025. Well, this was from my forecast report written a year ago. We thought that starting in 2025, 84% of the time we would expect a rally in this cycle wave. Well, we've seen it when a sensational bull market this year, which is no surprise because way back in 2015 we forecast a bull market for 2025. So many people have written me this year. But we saw that we should have a good rally in the market and a strong year end. Here is my natural cycle forecast for the year. We should have pulled down into March and then rally. And notice that the end of the year is also to the upside. So I think we still have legs left to the upside in this market. And here we are right here, right now, with the cycle forecast turned bullish, and we continue to see we should rally until the end of the year. Here is the cycle problem. Look at this. Wow, cycles look like we're down, but price actually from here to here went up. Cycles are much better at calling market lows and highs, and also price will diverge. In fact, if price is much stronger, when we get to the cyclical low, then we expect a pretty good impact of the market because prices held up. The cyclical pressures didn't drive price down, so that's even more bullish. And again, as you can see, into the end of the year, we should see the market continue moving higher, which is traditional. That's also a seasonal pattern as well. So another expectation to see stocks rally for the rest of the year. The stock of the year, NVIDIA. Oh my gosh, the stock everybody wishes that they own. What's it going to do? Let's take a look. Here's the cycle forecast for NVIDIA. Long term, and see the blue line, still a little higher here until the end of the year. Then I think we're going to start to turn down. I suspect there'll be a lot of profit taken right at the end of the year as this rally continues into year end. And then we're going to start to see a downturn somewhere, maybe the middle of December. But it also currently is in a bullish cyclical pattern. So I know so many of you are following that stock. You kind of have an advanced view now of what to expect in your stock. It is time to start thinking about 2026. Farmer's Almanac has already come out, right? Oh, Farmer's Almanac. I love one of the things in it. The answer came in white and black in the Farmer's Almanac. It says if a man could have half his wishes, he would double his trouble. Wow, that really registers with me. Yeah, if we had half our wishes came true, we just have double the trouble. So as always, be careful what you wish for, huh? Well, we're going to wrap it up at this point. I'd like to thank StockCharts.com for allowing me to do these presentations. Hope you've learned a little bit today. give you a little view of the future and get ready for 2026. I am working on my 2026 forecast report. We'll announce that later. But for now, you have a pretty good view of what should happen for the rest of the year. So until next time, as always, your fellow trader, Larry Williams, wishing you good luck and good trading.